we understand how when you are standing in the middle of your physical world that you're interpreting through your physical senses, that a conversation about a vibrational reality that precedes all reality is not the easiest thing to hear. But you have to know that everything that is manifested was a vibrational reality first. It's vibrational, and the longer it is thought upon, the more it comes into focus, until you have this environment here where there are so many of you holding similar thoughts and expectations about things that you have a rather stable platform from which you're expanding, that you are calling reality. But we want to put emphasis upon the from which you are expanding part rather than the stable reality part, because if you get too focused upon what is, you move very slowly into what really is. We want you to know that this vibrational reality, this vortex where law of attraction is holding all things that you have asked for and the larger part of you, we want you to understand that that is present tense. And we want to say to you in a way that may appeal to your logic that if it were not reality and if it were not present tense, you wouldn't feel the tug of not going, and you wouldn't feel the thrill of going. In other words, the very emotion that you feel must help you to understand that there are two vibrational versions that are having a relationship, and your emotions equal the relationship that those two vibrational versions are having. So when you have a feeling of dissatisfaction, what that means is your life in your physical human form has caused you to ask for something that you are not up to speed with. You're more of a vibrational match to the absence of it than you are the presence of it, but the other side of the wave is brought into focus when the other side of the wave is brought into focus. You get that? Do you know how when you really don't want something, how you really want something? In other words, if you really don't want it, then you really do want it. You know that, don't you? If someone you didn't know called you on the telephone and said, "Hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again." You would say, "That will be all right with me." But if someone you really care about tells you that, it's not really all right with you. In other words, this other side of the wave, you get that. So when you know what you don't want, and therefore you offer this vibration of what you do want. Now, we haven't said this before, but you're ready for it. So let's go to this new place relative to this. Focus on the idea of this vibrational wave. And start with the idea that as a problem is coming into focus, a solution is coming into focus too. In other words, that makes sense, doesn't it? Knowing what I don't want, knowing what I do want. But the question is, where is the perceiver of this situation in relationship to the problem and the solution? You with us? So we have a problem, and therefore we have a solution. You could also say we have a solution, and therefore we have a problem. In other words, equal sides of the wave. So here's the question. Where is the perceiver in relationship to the problem and the solution? So now consider this. In your situation, at all times, there are two perceivers. There's the you in your human form perceiver, and there's the you, the inner being, God source, God force, soul perceiver. Well, where source is in this equation is in alignment with what is wanted, because there is no resistance in the vibration of source. So when the desire is there, source is a perfect immediate match to it, and therefore it immediately is present tense. The question that this gathering wants to ask of you and help you to ask of yourself and answer is, biggest question that will ever come to you, where are you as a perceiver in this problem solution equation? If you are a closer match to the problem, and often you are at the beginning of the launch, you feel the resistance, you feel the strong negative emotion. The more you, as the perceiver, become a match to the solution, the more satisfaction you begin to feel. Make sense? The less discord that you feel. We've been saying this to you in a lot of different ways, but the thing that we so want you to get, leading edge rascals that you are, we want you to understand that as this problem is coming into focus, the solution is too. And you get to choose where in this span of probabilities or possibilities you're hanging around most. What are you practicing? So, as we've been talking about this vortex, we love this analogy because as you are knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want and setting forth all of this, we've been saying for years that when you ask, it is given, and contrast causes you to ask. That's those rockets going forward. And we've been saying for years that when you ask, that source answers, and that's source becoming an immediate vibrational match because source has no resistance to what you've asked for. And then the third part of the three-step process is you have to become a match. You have to allow yourself to be vibrationally up to speed, which means to be vibrationally absent of resistance, in order to have the full manifestation of what you are wanting. So now, in this leading edge discussion that we were having just now, we're saying to you that when you're up to speed with who you are, you're in the vortex. And when you're in the vortex, the problem does not feel like a problem. And why does the problem not feel like a problem when you're in the vortex, even before the solution has completely manifest? Because when you're in the vortex and therefore up to speed with the solution and therefore up to speed with all that you are and therefore non-resistant to what you want, now you're in the place of allowing the manifestation. Now, humans have this habit, we love you very much, of not wanting to feel the success of something until it manifests. It's like, show me the money, then I'll be glad. Show me my lover, and then I'll be glad. Show me the evidence of good things, and then I'll be happy. So most people stand outside the vortex most of the time and let what's happening in their experience dictate where their vibration is. So you let reality train your vibration.